Medusa is broken again. The Weapon X we reported about on Wednesday is now gone, and a few small other bugs have crept into the game. And also it looks like Cabal are doing a ban wave for some really dodgy accounts. Yes, hello everybody and welcome back to the Marvel Contest of Champions news. And by the power of Asgard, please remember to hit the like button as well as the subscribe button if you are new to the channel. Thank you very much. Oh, and post notifications on. Thank you. And without further ado, let's get into the news. News kicks off today with this post here. And not any particular reason. Obviously, this person forgot to mention that there was a solo event going on. I kind of looked at stuff with the store and kind of compared it off to the Nick Fury event. And just like, it just started coming into a tirade of people kind of just stating the obvious. And look, you can see the extent of disagrees. I've not seen that many disagrees unless Cabal Mike posts something. But yeah, just amazing with the like responses for the stuff, and even the person just like doubling down on the situation, and people still following to disagree with this. Look, to be really honest, this has actually been quite a good month. Cabal have actually hit it out the park with this one, especially for a January, which isn't normally that good. And also do bear in mind that we'll be getting possibly a love calendar and as well a lunar event next month, which kind of pinpoints to kind of a stacked start of the year, and then it will just start getting a little bit kind of weaker, especially if we kind of go to something around about April time, like March, maybe a little bit, you know, not exactly there. Maybe it's going to be like June, July is going to be a bit kind of meh, but there'll be like decent side quests and other stuff and permanent content, and probably another variant towards the end of the year as well. I just think this is actually a good start to the year so far, so all those disagrees, funny. Next up, and for old school Marvel Contest of Champions YouTubers and as well people that have been playing the game and maybe following YouTubers for a while, they may remember the name Texas Hitman or The Gaming Arena. As you can see, this is some of his videos here back about 3 years ago. And he was actually getting some really good numbers, some really good traction, had a really thriving subscriber base. Anyway, about 3 years ago, he decided he wanted to kind of like leave the game. A lot of the pressures of stuff like, you know, family, work and other things. But he released a video on Christmas Eve that's just him smoking a cigar. Followed up with a comment just letting people know that he is fine, and at the same time he's going to let people know what he's been up to and as well why he stopped playing the game, which I think is quite important because this guy, like I said, was a legend of the game, and it is a shame that he hasn't been doing stuff because he would have been a massive MCC YouTuber today, probably the biggest. On to very important Weapon X related news. So Weapon X, as you know, on Wednesday we reported on the fact that this was actually entering into the champions section, and we're like, hey, does this mean we're going to get the champion? The champion is now removed, and that's the sad thing, and it does kind of obviously make me think that that is the case ongoing. It could be something to do with the Legends titleage that's given out as one of those kind of rare champions, but I really hope that instead it's something like it's one that enters into crystals at a later date, and as well you can get him from like arena grind, because it's been a long time. I like the character from like comic book stats side, and the way that it looks really good, and as well I'm sure that it'll play out relatively well. Better as a 5-star and a 6-star as opposed to like a 4-star, but still having rare champions is having rare champions, and obviously Cabal have got this sitting on their server, so give me the champion. Next up, I'm seeing a lot of complaints when it comes to Acorns and calendars. So first of all here, somebody saying that the second day, the nutty calendar is not there for people. Cabal Mike responding back with, please can you take a screenshot of your calendar page? My records show that you have 4 baskets which can only come from the calendar. Ooh. I've seen many people reporting on the fact that they still don't have the nutty calendar, so that's kind of weird. You can see like here, in many cases, not the nutty calendar. Like people just don't have this for whatever reason. As this might be a case, it'll be reflective of a few people in the community rather than the wider amount of the community. It's the best thing to do is raise a ticket, because then Cabal can take your case as a case-by-case basis and as well get you sorted. If any issues, please remember to contact myself, because I'll try and see if I can then push this narrative that we need this sorted out for those. Because you can't go 2 days without not doing this event. It's just not fair for your progression, your solo grind and other aspects as well. So I hope you do end up getting that nutty calendar and have all the nutty goodness. Also in Comic-Con and kind of meetup sense, why do you think Cabal don't go to all of the different types of Comic-Cons around the world? Well, they have actually answered this, because I know a lot of people do have those questions. They'd like to see them at their local con, their city con, their country con, but for whatever reason, they're not there. Now, I thought I'd go to Reddit and try and find out if there's any kind of breakdown in costs. So there was this information here that just basically said that for $4,000, you can get like something close to the Marvel booth. So what is actually in the Marvel booth, unless there's any kind of like kickbacks or, you know, concessions or whatever to kind of like reduce down the cost, Cabal could be paying like nearly tens of thousands of dollars, possibly, don't know. Obviously that's just an assumption on my behalf, but you know, that does add up if Cabal have representation and have to fly people around the world. So it would be nice to see them at your local con, but I don't think they do it based on the spend. Still find it kind of odd that they don't do anything for a lot of Canada-based things or Canadian-based things, and that's like the Fan Expo, which does have good numbers, because that's the main thing. Like when you want to like invest in something like this to kind of put your brand out there, put your booth and whatever, and as well the games and all the kind of paraphernalia that we saw at New York Comic Con, you're going to see numbers. The Fan Expo has got some good numbers. I think it was like 130,000 back a few years ago, and as well the capital, like Ottawa's it wasn't even 100,000, like 40,000 I think I saw, 40,000 people in attendance for that. It's not the greatest of numbers, so Fan Expo would probably be the best thing to like put the game out, to just go like, hey, we're here. But you know, you just don't know if that's going to be a thing or whether or not they would want to present that. But New York Comic Con with its numbers and attendees is always kind of like good for bank, so that's probably the reason why. Now in other news, we might be seeing a problem with Iceman. He may not be poison immune anymore. Possibly, don't know. So from looking at this, it does look like the enemy is taking damage from poison. However though, I must just point out this is very early days of this being posted, and at the same time, we don't know if the damage is being ticked by shock damage as opposed to poison damage. That's something we still yet to be clarified. Kabam have asked, do you happen to have any video of this happening, or would you be able to tell us who or what was your team when this occurred? Just giving more information to the subject. This issue points to caustic temper, and this is probably the reason that it's happening, but there could be some interaction things with synergies and other stuff, or maybe it could be a real bad bug, who knows. I'll let you know more about this in the future as and when we get more information on the subject. Our next story is all about Arkus' synergy with OG Vision. So for a lot of people that know, as soon as you do a power burn, you get the Fury buff. But for whatever reason, it seems that this is not working. Kabam Zibbit even responding back saying, hey there, do you happen to have any video that you can share with us? Or would you be able to let us know which game mode you saw this occur and who you were fighting? But the thing is, a lot of people are coming up with the same thing. With many people here saying that yes, it is not working. Now, if you do have any footage of this, please go to link in the description. It'll take you to this forum post and you can submit this footage, or maybe a screenshot, mainly a GIF. A GIF or a video would probably be the best things to do, just to give Kabam the idea that yes, it's not working. Please sort this out. And Kabam Zibbit even saying, like, look, for anyone that has not done so already, please could you let us know what mode were you in when this happened, who you were fighting, and whether you're using Vision or Vision Age of Ultron. But it looks like at the moment it is a case that it's everywhere. Now on to the most important story of the day, and that is Medusa. Medusa in the last couple of days has stopped working as intended, and it could be all about the time that Cabal were trying to work in some armor break improvements. So whether or not that has now caused that issue, I think it was trying to do something with Vision Arkus, but it just seems when it went live on Wednesday, this wasn't really working out properly. In this footage playing here, you can see the champion building up to an L1, applying the L1, and no armor break. This was obviously a big concern, and as well for a lot of players that use Medusa, this is something that even myself, I was concerned about and I wanted to obviously mention today. Also, me putting it in Marvel Contest Champions News, which is to help out players in the community and give them information about stuff going on. It's funny apparently. The update on the situation is as follows. Kabam Zibbit said a couple of days ago that this will be taken to the game team. And with Kabam Mike even confirming that we have a fix coming for this later today, we're currently testing it out and get it ready for being pushed out. We'll let you know when it's ready. And just to confirm, as of very early this morning, this fix is now live and working fine. So anybody that's been annoyed about this bug, it is now fixed. you can use your Medusa in peace. And now here's our final story, which is done in post-edit. So whilst I was editing MCC News, I noticed that there was a few stories or a few threads that are all about bans, and it seems like Cabal have put together a bigger ban wave. And I don't know what this is really about, whether or not this is associated things like Arena, because we had a big problem with that, and also stuff with the gifting event. So again, I don't know if this is largely associated with that. But obviously this stuff is not things that like Cabal will talk about in forums, but it's just very interesting to see that there's been several pages or several posts about people talking about it. Even one person admitting to modding in the past, but also talks about the kind of point of saying like, oh, they've put a lot of money to the game. But again, this like stuff where we have to take it as a pinch of salt. At the end of the day, if you were a modder or you're a bot person, or if like it was a fake account or it was other stuff like that, if you were playing through unscrupulous means or you were not playing fairly, then the fact is, would you own up to it or think that you're in the right and own up to it? Or, you know, would you accept your punishment? At the end of the day, this is still unacceptable to do anything. And as I've always reiterated, always play cleanly, because you will be found out. And when you do get found out, you'll lose your account. And when you lose your account, then you can't get it back. You'll have to start a new one. And even if you buy a new one, you're still gonna run the same risk as this person and these people do here. Thank you very much for watching the MCOC LOL news. Check out some other content here, because it's LOL, that content because it's LOL, and the subscribe button because it's LOL. Why not? Bye bye for now.